Hey guys, it's Mega, and we're back with another switch review from Akko. These are the Akko CS Piano switches, and they're lubed, out of the box. But I've always been curious about how good factory lubed switches are, compared to being hand lubed, of course. Is it good enough lubing for our usage? Is it consistent enough to be unnoticeable? Let's find out. But before anything, Akko sent me these switches, but make no mistake, everything I say here are my opinions, and Akko had no influence on them. So let's talk about switch materials. The stem is made out of palm, which is what most of the stems on modern switches are made out of. But the stem is around 19 mm, which makes it a long pole switch. The top housing is made out of PC or polycarbonate. You know, when this is the material, it's already a clacky switch. The bottom is PA, or otherwise called nylon. For a bottom housing, it's common with other JWK or Jorox switches, which is including my favorite Alpaca switches. The spring is rated at around 48 grams operating and a 53 gram bottom out. It's a long spring as well, so you can really feel the snappiness of the switch. It's around 22 mm. So really, this switch is made to be thought. Nope, it's a clacky beast, through and through, and I am here for it. Akko really knows how to push my buttons. Black and white colorway, ooh, you know I'm there. But you know, these specs are almost the same as the Zakus and Alpacas, to name a few. And undoubtedly, they are both very clacky switches. In fact, Keycaps calls it the Zakus of Akko switches. One thing about these switches though, these are factory lubed with Krytox 205 grade 0 and 105 grade 0, as said in their international site, which is quite interesting that they mention it. But they do list a disclaimer that it is not consistent, since it is machine lubed and the technology has not yet been perfected. I mean, personally, I've always preferred hand lubing my switches. I'm not perfect either, but I can at least be more consistent, that's for sure. Considering I didn't take 3 cups of coffee, or I'm not drunk out of my mind. See, the main concern of the factory lube switches is the inconsistency with all the switches. Some may be over lubed, some may be under lubed, some may be just right. Honestly, inside me there is an itch to lube these switches with some Krytox 205 grade 0, but that runs the risk of over lubing, which will sound like a wet juicy fart or a sporting bottle.
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
I don't think it's worth the risk, especially given that they are already lubed and smooth, and they sound pretty good out of the box. Well, let's try typing on a set and see if it is good enough to type on. By the way, we're gonna use my Tiger 80 Lite with TX tabs, all the foams installed, and using my cat monochrome keycaps. In conclusion, I know this isn't Akko's usual price for these switches, but think of it this way. At least you don't have to pay someone to hand loop these switches, and when you compare them to similar switches, these are still very affordable for what they are. So you can purchase these from Shopee for the Philippine users and from the international store of Akko. Links will be in the description. If you've gotten to this point, thanks for watching. What do you think about these switches? Are they good enough to contend against the coveted Zaku's or Alpaca switches? Let me know in the comments, and what are the other switches you guys want me to review. Thank you and have a good day.